Well, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, formerly the Better Choice Company, a pet health and wellness company that recently posted revenue growth of 26% year over year of 7.2 million, has acquired SRX Health Solutions, offering integrated solutions to support the wellness of Canadians. And upon closing this acquisition, they will rebrand under the SRX Health Solutions name and ticker SRXH. And joining to discuss just that, we have President David Sohi joining. First and foremost, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to get you on. So I want to dive into this, simplify this a bit for newer audiences, maybe discuss the high growth, health driven platforms you're currently offering.
Yeah, for sure. So, unlike traditional pharmacies, SRX Health is focused on the specialty pharmacy market here in Canada. What differentiates the specialty pharmacy market from, say, a more retail-based pharmacy is that we're focusing on patients that require a lot more care and a lot more attention when it comes to being on some of these higher cost specialty medications. So you're talking about patients with rare disease, a lot of chronic illness, and it requires a lot more support and infrastructure in order to support that patient throughout their journey while they're on their specialty medications. This was the focus of Adesh Vora, who founded the company in 2013, knowing that specialty care was going to be a high growth area moving forward in the healthcare industry. So today, for example, over 60% of all drugs currently in pipeline are focused on specialty care. And seeing this trend in 2013, now we're well positioned to actually take advantage of some of these new specialty medications that are going to be hitting the market over the next decade or so. And you can see that through our growth within SRX, we're growing at 10+% year over year. And we see that growth trajectory continuing to increase as we move into over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the insight. But do you want to talk a little bit about the sector size here? Maybe give us an idea of your distribution channels. I mean, there seems to be a lot going on.
Yeah, so the specialty market in Canada is approximately $14 billion. The actual pharmacy market is roughly $40 billion in Canada. So it makes up roughly 40% of the overall prescription sales dollars in Canada. And we represent approximately less than 1% of that total market size today. So there's a lot of room for us to actually grow. And what differentiates SRX from some of the other specialty players in Canada is that we actually have a lot of brick and mortar locations in Canada. So we have approximately 20 pharmacies located across Canada. We have a national presence, so coast to coast. And we really focus on that patient care journey. We work very closely with our collaborators, and we are on the ground. Our pharmacists are on the ground. They have a lot more touch point with the patients. And we find that is a large advantage when it comes to actually caring for the patient, because that's at the end of the day our focus. We want to make sure that our patients within our infrastructure, within their ecosystem, are well taken care of, and they have the proper infrastructure in place, and they have the proper personnel in place along their journey for some of these, chronic illness and rare disease, which is never easy to manage.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the, I guess, the acquisition front here that the
Mhm.
shareholders have overwhelmingly approved for Better Choice, but
Yep.
also even Further Choice Pharmaceuticals based in Texas. And I don't think we mentioned that in the beginning, but can you break down these acquisitions and what they kind of mean for the company?
Yeah, so it's great to see, from an SRX and from a Better Choice perspective that the shareholders overwhelmingly approve this. I think it's a testament to the actual industry. We touched on it in your first question, right? Healthcare is a good, solid industry. There's a lot of high growth potential here. There's a lot of focus on people's health, particularly now in that individualized care approach, something that SRX really prides itself in doing. So, I think from that perspective, people really see the potential here. And then, in the US, when we started talks with Better Choice, there was always the idea that we would bring our model into the US or find a similar model into the US so we can actually have a North American-based approach. At the end of the day, right, specialty care is generally the same, right, which is what you want. You need that infrastructure, and you need to create that the right personnel in order to make sure the patient is well taken care of. So we identified Choice. They share the same values, they share the same system, and they have the same platform that we do here in Canada. So we look at this as also not just an acquisition, but a partnership. Both the owners at Choice have built the company in a very similar way that Adesh has. They focus on the patient, they're focused on specialty care. And so I think it's going to be a great marriage once we close the deal.
Now, finally, do you want to just talk about kind of the stock value aspect, what kind of value shareholders are looking at and what they should be paying attention to here?
Yeah, so I mean, going back to what we talked about with respect to the industry, the industry tailwinds are obviously in our favor. We're going to see 8 to 10% year-over-year growth in the specialty market. That in and of itself will give us the top line growth that we want to see. I think with the Choice acquisition in the US, one thing we're going to start doing and seeing is a lot of synergies across the border. So a lot of the best practices that we do here in Canada, we want to bring down to the US and vice versa, and creating that North American presence and taking advantage of that 8 to 10% growth year over year. We see that as a tremendous opportunity, particularly given the fact that, we are one of the smallest players in the specialty market. We're small, we're nimble. We can start taking advantage of these industry trends and taking advantage of some of our competitive advantages that we see, having boots on the ground and having that brick and mortar presence. We think that we can actually see that top line growth over that 10% mark that we're expecting in the industry. So, stay tuned and pay attention to some of the quarters that we're going to be releasing. We're pretty excited about the future.
On that note, we'll leave all the links in the description below and we'll pass it off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think, but consider subscribing for news and catalysts as it comes down the wire. But on that, we look forward to catching you in the next one.